Okay, welcome back. Honorable Olusegun Olulade, former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, as well as Mr. Ademola Adegoke, communications consultant, our guest this morning. And we're looking at yesterday's speech by the president. These are very serious times. Every Nigerian knows that we are in urgent times. And the president was speaking to that and saying that this is something that he was aware of and that he felt our pain, and that they were working at it. He even spoke about boosting employment and urban incomes by providing investment funds for enterprises with great potential. But we were saying before going away that much of this probably needs to be perhaps even more communicated with the people.
Well, like I was saying earlier, the issue of even bringing in buses into the country. Buses are not something you can just pick up in
yes, so people
bookshop.
are saying when. People are saying when. That's one critique I saw.
We can't even say...
They wanted to know,
government
Mr. President,
tell you,
is it coming by December? Is it coming by first quarter of next year?
Authoritatively give you dates.
Okay.
And that's the reality.
Okay.
Because government are not the one manufacturing, and those buses are not manufactured in Nigeria, and they are not the one manufacturing on.
Okay.
So they are still going to bring them in. We look at the ports and how they are going to bring it in to import it to the country, how those buses will be cleared before distribution and all sort of things. And those who are also manufacturing those buses, how are they going to deliver? And they have their timeline.
Indeed, I hear what you're saying, and you're coming from someone who has been in the system, and so you know how it works. But for the maybe the communication team has to come and speak to that, because that is what the people are saying.
People will still want to seek clarity on, timelines are very, very important.
They are important.
Even
they are
when
important.
You are not sure, you make it plus minus.
Yeah.
You understand? So, and this also, it still goes down to what we have said about communication. Okay, we may not be able to give a specific time, but within this period, we are sure that, because the president actually even said that the procurement process will be fast-tracked.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
To remove bottlenecks that usually causes delay. So which means that you can begin to picture, the time frame within which, the goal will be attained. Yeah. So for me, we still can, at least to let people know, so that, when you are suffering and you have a picture of hope, and when, the suffering we had, it lessens the weight.
There are all sorts of modes of, communication. Of course, words, TV, radio, and all of that is one. But also the behavior of government is also important.
Very, very.
One, I saw yesterday that Nigerians saw that it wasn't at Eagle Square that we had that thing, that we had, so it was scaled back. That, look, there's every reason to be hopeful, but there's no reason yet to be flamboyant. Yes. Now, this takes us to perhaps things like governance and the cost of governance and what is being done to reduce the size of government. Those kind of things are, because these are perhaps not direct communication, but actually they are direct. But you get what I mean?
The body language.
Because it shows.
Yes. It's the body language of the leaders.
Because you can't be saying one thing and be doing
another thing. Yes. And that is what President have displayed with what we have seen yesterday concerning the parade and all sort of things, and the bringing down of the celebration, so to say.
Yes.
So it's...
But from the celebration into governance itself.
Governance itself. And
it has been said in the past that the Nigerian system is so ostentatious. It wants to be almost on a par with the American system, where there are 87 cars because the president is arriving in a place. There are 87 different cars. Well, I'm just calling a number off the top of my head. All of those kind of things. I'm sure they must be able to look at this whole situation and see what can be scaled back. Not that there's very much flab. I'm not alleging that there's very much flab.
Let me also correct that perception.
Sure.
Let me correct that perception. For instance, if Mr. President is coming to
someone on
Lagos.
the line. Sorry, while I was speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there is a caller on the line. Let me quickly take Mr. George. Good morning to you, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and happy independence to you and the guests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same to
Uncle
you.
Yori, the president must please ensure that he does not allow misinformation to hijack his government. Why am I saying this? Since this incident, since the government made pronouncements about palliative, I have not heard any minister come to speak to the public about when is the CNG coming to him. At what stage are we in it? The Minister of Information has not granted a press interview to pressmen since he has assumed duty. I stand to be corrected. Now, you are giving opportunity. The Labour is being hijacked by the opposition to run down the government. That's the truth of the matter. And you must not give them an upper hand on propaganda. If you do not inform people of what you are doing, you give room for the opposition to use whatever propaganda they have to create a scenario, and people will believe them. It happened in the previous government. It must not be allowed to happen in this one again. So I quite agree that flow of information is insufficient. It must be addressed. There are so many special advisors that are surrounding the president. There are so many ministers that have assumed duties. This is not a time to sit in your cocoon. We want to hear what you are doing.
Indeed.
And the Nigerians want to know what exactly the government is doing.
Indeed.
And it's very, very important. It's a candid advice, and I think the president will handle it critically.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, the feedback mechanism is very, very on the low side. And that is why Mr. George, that's what Mr. George is trying to portray there. Another thing that we can take away even from Mr. President's speech that nobody is talking about. He made mention that 5 billion naira was given to each of the states. And if that is done, what are they doing concerning the palliatives?
Yes.
To reduce, we see some states that we can point to that have already started addressing.
We've heard that Labour hasn't even gone to interrogate all those ones.
Yes.
People are speaking that, look, there are places that they thought Labour, could rightly investigate, say, look, the little that has been done, because when I say little, to Labour, it will always be little. Labour is Oliver Twist on behalf of the workers, so we understand that. But even that is not being sort of interrogated yet at the state level. I think it is Mr. George that also called in last week when we were having a similar kind of a conversation and made that observation that, look, you can start from Labour. This is not the time to have a strike. And Labour, because if we're saying the economy is the way it is now, a strike by Labour is not going to ameliorate that situation. It's going to even worsen it. But I hear that Mazi Okorafor has called in. Good morning to you, Mazi.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, Nigerians. I am Mazi Okorafor from Azuku. We thank God today is Monday, October 2nd. We thank God we have witnessed our 3rd independence anniversary. We thank God. We say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Now, the speech and the message is Sayori and Nigeria. What we have in Nigeria, we have good policy making. But the question is, within the environment or within the ministry, the sectors, when will it get to the grassroots, when are we the grassroots to all the departments to implement it? Because we are good in policy making, but the question is how to implement it. That is the issue, the major factor that Nigeria is having as if government are not making effort. Now, let's go a little from Edo State. Honestly speaking, I just did research work there. I discovered that Edo State, they are floating a lot of buses. And the buses there, they didn't tag whether you are a civil servant or whether you are unemployed. The buses is meant for everybody. Wherever you are going, as long as the bus is on your route, you are free to enter, free of charge. It is very, very good. And the government said, it's over 1 month the government started paying 40,000. Is it not good? Now, this is a state, among the 36 states, including Abuja, that work. Now, you start asking yourself, what happened to other states? Does it mean that they are not proactive or they don't want to do anything to cushion all this effect? Listen, we are talking about development. We are talking about the economy. We are talking about the educational sector. We are talking about all the factors, all the variables in Nigeria. everybody, wherever you find yourself, make sure that you do the needful so that we move forward. Whether you talk from 19 to that doesn't matter. The question, let us start implementing all these policies the government has said. Now, since we talk about security, I think everybody watched what happened in Turkey yesterday, the PKK. Honestly, I was so surprised. I was so upset because very, very upset. Look, the young man left the car with a sub bomber, moved from the movement from his own car to where he went to bomber. The camera captured everything neat and direct, everything. You can even bring it closer to yourself. That is does it mean our Nigerian sector, all this economy we're talking about, to make the manufacturers come to Nigeria? Don't we have people that will personally from such things and find what's happening? How did they do that thing? How did they do that? But they picked the young man. Nobody was there. No government official was there. But the camera picked him. They go back and play immediately. So this is what we should talk about.
Okay.
The labor, whether labor is talking or labor is not talking, the question is, let us not cripple the economy.
Thank you. Thank you, Mazi, for your contribution. Exactly. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to cripple the economy. And what Labour was promising yesterday, at least to the extent that, look, they will be reverting. They will be reverting to their, to
their organs.
To their organs, and would then come back. There's a sense in which government is trying to meet them. But, it's, we have to boost production.
It has to be.
We have to boost production. Did you want to comment on this refinery, that the Dangote refinery, that was supposed to be something of almost like a silver bullet, that we were going to save so very much, as a result of the swinging into production of that particular refinery. It was supposed to be in production by now, but it is yet to be in production. And I don't know. Have we sort of overpromised ourselves in the past? I think it goes back to the communication you people were talking about.
Yeah.
We need to know what's going on almost per second.
You see, when people are, becoming more and more skeptical of promises from government quotas, yes, sometimes you want to tag them as doubting Thomases. But again, when you now, connect to what has been happening in the past, you don't want to blame people for being skeptical too much. Because, like what you have said, by now, Dangote Refinery, it's supposed to have taken off. And like you said,
Dangote Refinery that we understand Dangote has actually paid back, what, is it 70 or 80% of the loan?
Let me just...
70 or 80% of the loan that was provided. There are all sorts of things out there.
So you see...
So anything that's not clear about that.
So many things are not really clear.
And I want to believe those were the mansions that were built on the swamp.
On swamp.
So I think... I think we should face the reality.
When people are, manifesting this level of doubt, this level of skepticism, in government, whatever government tells them, it has to do with the experience of the past.
So the president,
and that is what we need to guard against.
So this administration, and no doubt the president's party, will be saying that everything is being thrown at the situation. But it goes back to what you gentlemen have been speaking about, the communication specialists within the team. Yeah. The communication specialists need to be following the president's initiatives,
communicate
and explain.
Engage the citizens.
Yes.
There's a lot of disengagement with the citizen in the past, and we cannot continue to witness that in this current regime. So the communication experts, those who are within that area, must stand up and continue to engage the people now. So that engagement is needed. People does not know a lot of things that is going on. We need to engage them and explain these things to them. Nigerians are fantastic people. We love our president. We love Nigeria. And,
yes.
as a country. So,
yes. So the investments that we are told, that the president was telling us about, that are being increased in micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises.
Yes.
You see, we've heard that from the president, you know. But you see, it probably needs to be explained so we can compare what we are hearing with what is on ground
categories.
and see the difference between, you know, before the policy was, you know, inaugurated and all of that. I guess the communication people have their work cut out for
and
them.
there is this, one needs to say this, you know, it's often said that what gets measured gets done and achieved.
That's the point of those asking for a timeline.
Policy implementation and impact assessment has to come into the whole, you know, arrangement. Policy implementation, you know, and impact assessment.
You know, because our people, you're very right, because our people, as you know, the way our people talk, so, you ask the person who is not a specialist, not an economist, they say, so what is going on? Then say, Montonche, I have no idea of what's going on.
Yes.
You know, so it's like the communication people are the people that have to,
money has been given
prevent
to
that
states,
expression.
Yes.
You know, for infrastructure support. How much, what is the compliance level? You understand? Of
who is monitoring that?
Who is monitoring that? What is the compliance? What is the implementation compliance level? What impact is it having on people? You know, if we say we want to boost agricultural production, to what level has it really had impact on people?
You know,
these are things that, you know, we cannot just wave aside.
In which there's very little room for relaxation in this administration, given the lie of the ground.
Yes.
It's like they've got to be up there and doing, because they don't want to lose the momentum that they have.
Yes.
The momentum that they had, you know, the people must continually be fed with information as to what is going on. You can't allow it to be said that we have no idea what this government is all about. You can't allow that.
No.
Good morning, Ada in Jos.
Good morning, Mr. Ayori and your guest. It's Ada calling from Jos Plateau State. Happy Independence.
Happy Independence.
Independence, you know, celebration. I mean, it's true we're not where we ought to be, but there's hope. I have that feeling that there's hope. And I must commend Mr. President because he's talking to us more often than before. That is in the previous administration I handed over to him, even though they are the same political party. Then, just like George mentioned, you know, I have that feeling too. This breakdown, you know, on this Independence Day, you don't expect him to say everything, spell out everything. At least the communication people should work hard. That's their duty. They should come and be telling us from time to time, you know, what is happening. But then I have a quarrel over this, this 15 million cash transfer to families or whatever. Me, I don't know. That thing will give, it's open to corruption as far as I'm concerned. They would have used that to make investments in those various states to have more money. And then the cash transfer, that is the one that they have set up to 35,000 according to them now to avoid the strike. The problem now, what about the state? The highest, the most I have heard about the state is some states have been able to give 10,000 before now. That's what they're talking of. Are they not going to the same market? So my hope now is the refinery. You know what needs to bring about trust deficit is when you say something and it doesn't happen. And I don't want it to happen to Tinubu. Tinubu is a strategist, if you ask me. Like the refinery, that especially the Port Harcourt refinery is talking about. He has promised us that it will start working in December. And the one elder statesman, one-time head of state, said that he's challenging him that it will not work. So if he let him challenge him to and make it work in December, that's how to function. You understand? So that is it. That's what he's doing about the trust deficit you're talking about. That refinery is the only thing. If it's working, it will help. And then those boys in the creek that they are going to destroy whatever they are, the small thieves, let them call them, have a meeting with them. They may promise them they're going to integrate them. Then let them call them and find a way to integrate them. Allow them to legalize what they are doing. It doesn't make sense to me to destroy those who are polluting the area. You know, we are still where we are. You know, that's the problem. So it's not that easy. And then the fuel subsidy. I'm an advocate of fuel subsidy. You will bear me witness. I keep on saying it on any program. But now, my worry now is that fuel subsidy is going to come back through the back door. You don't have to be an economist to know that it's going to come back through the back door with what is happening in the international market. Politicians will like price differential. It's really unfortunate. But all the same, let's find you up on Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much, Ada. But we recall that the president and his team have said that fuel subsidy is not coming back.
Yes.
That has been said up front.
And it will not come back.
Because people are saying this against the backdrop. I think people have I haven't even studied it yet, but people say Kenya had found a reason to say that, look, there's a partial reintroduction. But our people have said here that, sorry, it's not, it's gone. It's gone.
And Mr. President is working towards that. He has set December for refinery, Port Harcourt refinery, to start work. And we will definitely see that. And we have seen development. We have seen pictures. We have seen pictures of how people are working there now and seeing the transformation going on in Port Harcourt refinery. We need more of that. Okay. So that will be a follow-up to whatever thing that is being said. While we also appeal to Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC that Nigeria is going through enough of hardship.
Yeah, all of that's very important.
And I think it is time for them to also know that they cannot compound the hardship that Nigerians have.
I'm sure that
they should just suspend the issue of strike and let us continue to work together and engage.
Labour is coming back.
And that is also talking about engagement.
Yes. But you see, all of this, don't forget security. Don't forget security. The president also went there because very little can be done, and the president spoke to that. Very little can be done in the absence of security. And that's how the security comes back into this whole conversation about the economy. All of these things are actually interlinked. They're also interwoven, interlinked, and it's just as well we remember that president had said that don't pity us. We asked for the job, and we are going to do the job. Yeah. And the president gives the impression that, and as I said, there's very little room for relaxation, not for a little while at least.
Not now.
And so Nigerians know that. You guys have said that. Perhaps the information team, people have even said it from home. Information team, the communication team, can engage with us, the public, a bit better.
On each of the policies.
They can do better than they are doing now. Yeah. They can do better than they are doing now.
I think we need more people in the communication department.
Okay.
Yes. We need
so that people just understand.
Yes, that those that will be able to engage with the grassroots. We need to engage with the grassroots. Okay. We need to connect with the people more. The president is trying his best. Government is doing a lot, but people are not seeing it. It's not being brought down to specifics.
So specifics.
Yeah.
And this is what people are expecting. For me, we need to commend, government.
Of course.
People have said that, someone has said that, ambition without plan is mere wishful thinking. The government has identified the problem. There is an ambition, there is an aspiration to get solution to the problem, but not without plan. There are plans on ground. What now remains is, ensuring that we keep, to plans. Okay. And
I'm sure they're hearing us, and they are aware of all of these things, and we hope that we will see going forward very much of what you have suggested this morning. We're going to have to leave it here, but thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Honorable Segun Olulade and Mr. Ademola Adegoke. Thank you very much once more. Happy 63rd Independence.
Wishing you same, and wishing our compatriots at home same.
Indeed.
And thank you for having us.
Our pleasure. So that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. You'll be back at work, and I'm Yori Folarin. See you then. Bye-bye for now.